Like, do we push him to the back or what? Because I don't want his hype to die down.
Now you're telling us the next week that they're scum of the earth, and we need you to think.
Everybody gets moment. Everybody gets their little shine. Everybody. Hey, Dirt Sheet Radio Nation. This is the Smackdown Rewind. And of course, we're back with the full team with Brittany's back in the house. What's up, girl? And also CJ Carter, always back in the house. Well, man, what a show that was. What a ending. We're going to get right into it. Whoo! Why? I don't know why. AJ Styles is back. He helped out, knocked out the bloodline, but then wham, bam, thank you, LA Knight. Boom! I was asking you, CJ, back before we went live, why?
And I joked that it's probably some bad blood from their TNA days. No, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what this justification is going to be. Especially for helping to take out the bloodline makes sense, but then to turn and hit LA Knight specifically. You know, he didn't attack Randy Orton, which, by the way, poor Randy Orton, because now this is the second time that we've seen someone return on an Randy Orton segment since he's been back, and he's only been back since Survivor Series. So it's not like they're even giving him a chance to relish in his own return because they keep stacking other returns on top of him.
Man,
but
they're just stacking the whole train from the locomotive to the caboose. It's the WrestleMania 40 train. Let's go, everybody. And I love it every second of it. What you say about it, Brittany?
I'm just trying to think, was there a match or was there a promo or something that rubbed AJ the wrong way as far as LA? Because I really was not expecting that turn like that. And then did y'all see the reaction of everybody from Randy to Roman to Jimmy Solo? They was like, wait, what? Why did you do that? So I can't wait to find out what the motive was, because I liked it. I wasn't expecting it, but I liked it. It was cool. I liked it. Welcome back, AJ. Welcome back.
Right. It was, I was shocked. Like, I don't know what's going on. And, let's roll with it. You could be right, CJ. It could be something from way back in the day, but normally, the E don't go too deep. They don't want to lose people. They don't go too deep into the archives. This little mainstream storyline. Maybe I think AJ probably coming back, just because he don't like all the attention LA's getting. The super rise to the top very quickly.
Well, and that could be it too. I love the that if they don't want to go too deep into the weeds, that kind of clicked in my head because they announced this week that with the rebrand from Impact back to TNA, it's actually going to be Endeavor Streaming that's looking after TNA Plus. So if they want to try and stir up any TNA drama from back in the day, they may have kind of a backdoor way into getting that footage onto WWE TV. If that is the case, I think that'd be pretty cool. Even though, like Angel's comment here, he wasn't LA Knight, he was Eli Drake. But I mean, as long as you don't reference that in the video, you just use clips without the audio, and you just sell it like it was LA Knight the whole time. But this also, in my mind, Brittany,
Hmm.
kind of takes him out of the running for winning the Rumble if he's heading into a rivalry with AJ Styles. I feel like, to be fair though, that is a hell of a match in itself for WrestleMania, LA
Right.
Knight versus AJ Styles.
Right.
Still really unexpected though. I'm surprised that they decided to pull the trigger on it right after he comes back.
It,
But I
it
guess
could
that
be.
is where it would be the most shocking.
It
Yeah.
could be for Royal Rumble, the Dirt Sheet Radio Nation. They're popping off questions left and right. They're hot tonight, and yeah, it could be something from back in the day. It could be jealousy from AJ Styles about LA Knight. Who knows? Like it could be anywhere, but it could be not a WrestleMania a fight. It could be a match for Royal Rumble
Hmm.
in Tampa.
True.
So
Which works
let's not forget
because
about Royal Rumble. Yes.
with LA, we thinking, this is for the people who thought that the momentum died as far as LA. So this continues to push that momentum that we've been talking about. Like we talked about the last episode that I was on. So I think it's good. Like CJ said, I do think this puts him out of my pick as far as the Royal Rumble win, especially if they do that match at the Rumble. But I like it. I
What?
actually low key would prefer that than him being in a Royal Rumble if that's where they're going.
Right. I mean, somebody I've read here. Somebody saying, "Oh, AJ wants that title shot," but you're not gonna attack LA Knight if you want the title shot because
Right.
LA Knight's trying to go for that title shot, right, Angel? So for the questions, keep those questions coming, guys. We appreciate that. We'll keep it going. And man, Roman's back. They kicked off the show with the bloodline. Um, and Randy interrupted him. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
What you thought about the beginning? Did you catch the opening, Brittany?
I did. So, what I thought was pretty cool was everybody who had like a promo since Punk has been back, they mentioned Punk. But one little thing I like about Roman is Roman had mentioned Punk at all. No
Yes.
subliminal message, no nothing. Didn't even acknowledge that Punk was back. So I want to pinpoint that part right there. But it was pretty solid for what it was. Roman is one of them ones that really love to like get under people's skin and make us think that he about to talk about this person. Then he flip the script and talk about this person. So like with Jimmy, I'm thinking he about to talk about Jimmy, taking over. Like, you might done Brittany Solo. Because when Roman left, he was building up Solo to be the next in line. So I definitely thought he did really good with that promo, keeping us invested into what the Bloodline story did, and also bringing in this part of the story with Randy. So I think they did a really good job blurring those, joining those two storylines together.
Right. They're
Yeah,
asking
I
about
agree.
Punk and all the other stuff that we were talking about last week. But yeah, we're hyped about Punk. I didn't think he was gonna come out. They didn't mention him today, so you know, but he's still in the mix. Like it's heads up right now. It could be Randy, it could be anybody. It could be Randy for Royal Rumble
Mm-hmm.
against Roman. What do you think, CJ?
Well, I think, Brittany, to your point of, the thinking that he's going to say Jay, but ends up saying Solo, like the fact that the cameraman held so tight on that shot of Roman and Jay, seeing Jay get hyped up, that really kind of telegraphed it too, that no, Jimmy's not actually where in the pecking order of the bloodline he thinks he is. Interesting note too that it was 4 years ago today since the last time Roman Reigns was pinned, which was by Baron Corbin. I think it was at the TLC pay-per-view that year. But
Wow.
it's a very Roman
Still what?
Reigns day. No different than any other day, I guess, in the WWE right now. Yeah, great promo from Randy tonight as well. It's the same sort of promo work that he had with Matt Riddle. where you can tell he's really just having fun with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
know he said something to the effect of he's not taking another moment of his career for granted, especially coming back from this most recent surgery. And like it's good to see him having fun. I like this version of Randy Orton a lot, so hope to see more of him.
yeah, he's swole, he's tanned. There was there was talks on other podcasts that somehow he grew like he's becoming a tall tale, like the Jolly Green Giant, like Paul Bunyan, like John Henry. He's like, he's coming back swole. Somebody there, Dirt Sheet Radio Nation, somebody said AJ was jacked.
He was.
He
Hmm.
looks swole, like the whole. I like
He was like,
the whole pectoral part. Like, yo, you've been doing push-ups, huh? So, like, everybody is ready for WrestleMania season. It looks
I'm
like,
so excited.
Oh
like,
yeah,
and
it's
I think this year, WrestleMania season's beginning a little bit earlier. First, it feels like they're winding the gears. They're lubing up the machinery early on. All right, that leads us into that first match, that tournament match, Carmelo versus Grayson Waller. Oh man, these Carmelo came out hot. I think he was excited for being on the main event. I mean, not the main event, on the main roster for the first official time, because I think he made an appearance before
Yeah, he did on Monday Night Raw.
Raw,
mhm.
or was it SmackDown, or it was Raw, right?
It was Raw.
Yeah, back when
Okay,
he was
so
still NXT champion.
Yep.
right. But I think this was like his first official. So I you could see it in his performance. He was man, he was in sixth gear, and I think Grayson was still stuck in fourth. I thought he was gonna blow Grayson up. I was like, oh, what's going on? But Grayson, he's a fabulous athlete. He's got good cardio. You can just see it all up. Those guys are just young, fun, and full of cum, if you ask me. But what do you guys think about that? That
It's
first opening
something.
match. I gave it 3 smacks. That's a good one.
It's something about that main roster just being there. Like when you come out from that back, it's just something about that push you into like a different element. And you can literally tell as soon as Melo walked out, he felt it. Like I belong here. I guess when it's my turn to hit the main roster, I'm about to thrive. I'm about to shine. But we already know Melo is him, and they definitely told a dope story going throughout this match, and it was heavy hitting. Not that many commercial breaks in between it. They did what they were supposed to. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was a great match. His presentation tonight was very different than how he's been booked lately for NXT. Like there was no mention of his storyline with Trick Williams right
Mm-hmm.
now. No mention of even last night or this past Tuesday on NXT. No mention of Mello getting attacked backstage. No mention of him even being questionable of whether he was going to compete or not. So it's interesting that they've taken this sort of direction with him, especially considering, as I mentioned on Tuesday, that I don't really see him getting called up permanently until after Stand and Deliver / WrestleMania. I
I agree with
think
that.
I think SmackDown is where he's going to land, and they've kind of really telegraphed it, talking about how it's his first match on SmackDown, however they phrased it. But it is something that I think we're going to see officially take place in the spring.
I
Why
agree.
why are they giving us everybody but Braun Breaker?
I think he'll be in the Rumble. I think
Right, I
this
think
is
so
the
too.
year where
Or
he gets that big moment to throw 5 6 guys in a row off the top or over the top rope. I mean, he had a moment like that in the Iron Survivor match where it was 3 pinfalls in those first 45 seconds or something like that. Like he's been on a great tear that kind of sets him up on this trajectory of big Royal Rumble splash, and then big match heading into Stand and Deliver, and then main roster jump after WrestleMania, where we thought that was going to happen last year, but then he
Right.
spent another year in NXT. So I do foresee that again. If Mello is headed to SmackDown, I'd say Braun Breaker is going to Raw.
Yeah, or he could pop up the Monday night after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
I did got here in my notes. I put a little asterisk, a little star by it. That clothesline that Mello. That's how I knew he
Oh
was
yeah.
on. That clothesline that led into the first break that he gave Waller, and he led him to the outside. I heard the pop. It was like what? And then they went to commercial, and I was like, whoa. Hopefully, somebody during commercial break told him, "Slow down, kids, slow down." Because I think that's what happened. And then everybody, I know I was, and the Dirt Sheet Radio Nation, they want to know what the fuck was that move that Waller did off the
Oh
top rope where
yeah.
Mello landed on his head.
Mm-hmm.
He put his leg up around his head. Bam, man, that was. I'll show it again. They was asking about that. He wasn't the only one. That was good. That was I think that was the highlight of the match for that one. But then again, Grayson Waller gets the loss. Then we move into the next match, KO versus Austin Theory. And then I'm like, ooh. But
Mm-hmm.
before we get that, I was worried about when they showed that graph. I don't know how far Melo's going to get, but Bobby Lashley's a big brick wall, and that's
Yeah.
a big stop sign. I don't know how, what's going to happen with that. If Bobby Lashley's going to slip on a banana peel type thing, and, 'cause I think something like that could happen where, Bobby still don't look too weak, but then Carmelo could, make a nice little splash on his entrance in the tournament. I don't see him necessarily winning, but if he makes it to the final and then, he loses in the final, I think that'd be awesome. But I don't know about him and Bobby Lashley. That's probably going to be that's it for him. What do
Well,
y'all think about that one?
I think because there was the rumor backstage that Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo were backstage tonight. Obviously, we
Right.
didn't see them on the show. It's very likely that what we're going to see next week between Lashley and Escobar is that sort of rumor of what was going to happen like 3 weeks ago. Those guys getting called up from NXT, given to Santos Escobar to be the new Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, the new Legado del Fantasma, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that idea. I think they are really working well down in NXT, and don't need that spot. You could just give it back to Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Like, they work well with Escobar. The original Legado worked well. Obviously, Electra Lopez was needed a bit more time in NXT, but even with Zelina, I get her needing to pick a side and siding with Ray. She did really well in her match later on tonight, which we'll talk about later.
Right.
But how did just kind of backtracking here, because yes, Escobar and Lashley, I see Escobar moving on to the finals on that side, and on the other side, it's going to be Kevin Owens. He's still my favorite to win the tournament overall.
All right. Now, the ending to the KO in Theory, I was like, so what's happening here? Like, the referee looked like me, and KO was like, did you catch that one, Brittany? What did you think about the ending to that one?
So that's when I had to go back to the other stream. So get me up to speed. What happened with that?
Okay. I'm old school, so like I don't know. Is it a brace? Is it a cast? is it legal? Is it illegal? Like
Oh,
they were,
the cast he was
he hit
wearing.
him. He hit him, but it was kind of with the forearm. But they're like, oh, he hit him with the cast, and he looked like he was about to get disqualified. And then the referee was like,
Oh, okay, okay,
and
okay.
so I was kind of like question mark there, like what the hell happened there? Like
Which
okay,
okay, so since you explained it, I like that because it's a brace. It's like a thick piece of fabric material. So I'm like, it doesn't necessarily count as a weapon. It's not a kendo stick or anything like that. It's not brass knuckles. So okay, now that you explained it, I like that. I like how they did that. He's like, oh well, since you're not gonna DQ me, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's go ahead and finish it. That was cool.
Well, and part of it was too that earlier in the match, Theory had tried to really damage that hand because they'd been talking about how Kevin Owens has a broken hand throughout the entire match. But it wasn't even until like the last 2 minutes of the match where Theory was kind of like, oh, yeah, I can actually do damage to this guy's broken hand. Like he just really honed in on it out of nowhere. And then KO still ended able to use the cast, what was left of it, anyways, because they're like he's trying to rip the cast off his hand, and yeah, so whatever was left was what he used to hit Theory with to win.
and I think because they're emphasizing too much on the injury, I think KO's gonna get to the finals, and because of the injury, he's not gonna win. Which, if Bobby Lashley slips on the proverbial banana peel, makes it he could attack the hand and win by the hand. Therefore, KO doesn't look too weak by losing to a rookie coming up in his first little thing. So many options.
True, potentially. I don't even think his hand is legit broken. So, well,
No,
hopefully not. I mean, nothing like Kenny Omega getting taken out by diverticulitis. But if it is a storyline injury, then great. I think he's gonna wind up taking on Logan Paul. But the other side of the brackets, like I don't see Carmelo Hayes winning this tournament again just because of
right.
what he's got going on in NXT. So yeah, Kevin Owens into the finals on that side, and then Escobar on the other side for the finals, and then I see KO taking it all.
I like that.
You agree? You agree
I
with
agree.
CJ,
I like
Brittany?
that.
I could see it.
I
I
see the
could see it.
vision.
I could see it. That'll work. Now, CJ, I was waiting for this moment because as soon as this happened, I chuckled and I'm like, and I thought of you.
And
Are,
as soon as I saw it, I thought of you.
the vignette from Karrion Cross, a
Man,
repackage. What
is
was
it a
WWE
repackage?
listening to us last week? What?
They listen to the fans. They be paying attention.
Okay, if they were listening to the fans, like nobody wants Karrion Cross. So if they were listening to the fans, he wouldn't have had a promo. But like it's kind of the same sort of mentality of early face push Roman Reigns where it's like you're pushing a product that your fans aren't interested in. Like it's not at the point where they are actively booing Karrion Cross like they
Hmm.
were Roman Reigns, but it's worse because it's
Worse.
apathy. Just
They don't
nobody
have
cares.
no reaction.
No.
There's no reaction.
And it really didn't help him getting eliminated in the US title tournament the week before. So what sort of momentum does he even have right now where the fans can look at it and be like, "All right, well, he's picking up some steam at least." No, he's coming off a loss. Why do we care?
I don't know. I give the Jim Cornette gasp. I don't know. And okay, so it reminds me of his first little vignettes where it was all timeout, it's time's running out or whatever it is. Now it's a new beginning, but it's still the same Karrion Kross, and he still has, the Scarlet, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But something, I don't know, something in the vignette made me think, or is he gonna come back with like more people, a little faction? That might help.
And you know what?
That might help.
A faction is saving a lot of people right now. So why not go ahead and try it?
Right.
Try it.
You're right about that. I mean,
Yeah.
he might need a little bit more than just a lip singing valet. Yeah.
Oh man, if they gave him the Max Dupree gimmick, he would have knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, Carmelo and KO face to face backstage. He interrupted the interview. He told him, "You're not gonna little bro me." KO's like, "Little bro, what's that? Do you think I do that? I don't think I do that." I think that was I think that was something nice. That was something nice for Carmelo. Uh, it was just basically to help push him along more. Give him a little rub here and there. What do y'all think about that backstage segment between Carmelo and KO?
I I thought it was good. Like you said, it was a good moment for Mello to have that promo time with KO. Really just give Mello a little bit more TV time and kind of an opportunity. But at the same time, again, it just doesn't make sense as far as his character presentation goes to be putting up this squeaky clean front when there's still a question of did he attack Trick Williams?
Right.
So yeah, overall for me, it just doesn't make sense for Mello to be not only presented the way he is, but also why Mello for this opportunity.
Right. Jeremiah Hubbard, question for Sam. What do you think is Carmelo Hayes' ceiling in WWE? Oh man, brother. There's no ceiling right now for him. He just getting started. And for the people that don't watch NXT, they're just getting introduced to Carmelo Hayes. And for the first eyes that lay down on him tonight, well, that was a good introduction. He got ring work, got some promo work in backstage. He looked strong. He looked good camera presence. I think there ain't no ceiling right now at this moment. He could be a dark horse in the Royal Rumble. Anything could happen. It's too early to try to put a ceiling on that young man, I think. What do you say, CJ?
Yeah, I think. Well, and I mean, as much of a ceiling as a recent NXT call up has, like no one really shoots to the moon as soon as they get to the main roster. The Creeds, I think, being the most recent exception, those guys have been on fire for a long time. Even some of their recent matches in NXT, the cage match with Dyad is another great example.
Yeah.
There's still like that match still sticks out in my mind as a match of the year contender. These guys are agile, they're strong, and even their presentation on the main roster with the Judgment Day saying they don't
Mm-hmm.
have like we can't take these guys for granted. They're not guys to be messed with. Like they are on track to have a really great 2024.
Right. And remember what I said last week, where everybody's getting their little shine, everybody's getting their little moments, whether it may feel rushed a little bit, it's still a little quick backstage moment here, 2 minutes, nothing. Just keep your face presence on TV. I like how they're working it. Now, this is something I put a good little star next to. That vignette backstage with Damage Control. That shit. French kiss. I gotta do a promo for that. I gotta do a little graphic for French kiss. Hey, that
That's your
was
shucky ducky quack quack.
yeah, yeah. The French kiss promo. That vignette. That little thing back there. They were all in position. It looked like a scene out of West Side Story. Everybody had their little positioning, leaning on the stoop, laying on this, laying on that, little gang members here and there. But what really surprised me was leading that was Bailey. And it looked like everybody was on the same page. Now that's a far cry from what we've been seeing, what we've been talking about and witnessing the last 2 weeks, where it's like, you stay back here, you no good. And
Well, and week to week after week, Bailey has been making herself more valuable to the damage control,
so strong,
helping pick
so
up
strong, and it's
wins.
a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but you also have to read between the lines in that promo. So yeah, Bailey started it off talking about starting damage control and knowing that she wanted a strong women's faction.
My
Her tone
dream.
and language was, well, yes, but that was essentially the only sort of singular point that she made for
Yes.
herself. Like, it was very much our goal, like for the good of the group. And
No.
then Io talking about like she's the greatest women's champion, and then more we from Bailey, and then some I from Asuka, like, so I think we're still laying the foundation for this turn because it's conflicting ideologies now. If you peel
No.
back that first layer and look at, very much this idea that, yes, we want to portray like we're on the we're all holding hands and singing kumbaya, but
Listen. CJ, listen. The way they presented that today, I'm gonna take it to hip hop. That looked like Wu-Tang. We're all individual, but we're all together. But it was just weird because everybody got the feel like they're gonna turn on Bailey, but at the end, they're all laughing. But it still could be that there's an inside joke that Bailey is not a part of because they're letting her do a lot of front talking again. But now they all finished, all of them. Ha 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 ha.
I
All right, she's
think
back with us, and
going
we're talking about that backstage promo. And was this the first time that they referenced the Kabuki Warriors again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
And
was
I
their
kind of popped like, yeah, the
Yep.
Kabuki Warriors. Yeah, and then they came out with the little Kabuki Warrior graphics. But yeah, we were talking about that backstage little thing that Damage Control did, and I think we said French kiss of
Oh
that.
yeah, perfection.
It was hard. That went hard. They just look so hardcore coming out like that. What do
And
you
then the
thought?
way Dakota came in, like when they had the camera going on Dakota coming from the side, I saw, yeah, that's perfect. That was good.
Oh, and did you catch that Bailey when it talked about Dakota? Because they said, Eels, this, and Oscar the Kabuki Warriors is that, and then when it came to talk about Dakota Kai, Bailey said the architect or the architect or
Oh
something.
yeah.
She referenced to her as the architect or something like that, like making the plans or something like that. So I thought that was very interesting.
They're doing a
well, I
really,
think
really good job with that storyline, like making us think that, Bailey is getting ready to be A-Town stomped out the group. Like they're doing a really good job putting all that together. So I'm very interested in how I'm interested in the end game of that. Like what's gonna happen at the end of this whole Bailey feeling like the odd girl out now that Kyrie is back. And I can only imagine what's gonna happen once Dakota is actually back wrestling. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. And another little backstage thing for Santos and Bobby Lashley. Santos was just reiterating, he wants to be, United States champion. When he had his shot, it was taken away by Rey Mysterio, which we all know that wasn't the case, but in his eyes, it is. CJ, what do you think about that little interaction backstage? Just adding fuel to the fire for the tournament. Um, I like the way Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits looked. They looked hard back there in the suits. They still haven't given them a name.
I don't think they
Do they
need
need
to.
a name at this point?
No.
It sounds like Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, like that. It sounds like a corny band, but yeah, it sounds good to me. Like, for if that's what they end up calling their team.
That's funny.
But this,
A
I
doo-wop
told you,
band.
Sam, from last week. Remember when I said this was going to end that heel push that Bobby Lashley and the Profits were getting because they started turning them as good guys at Tribute to the Troops, which again, not a bad thing, but it is this promo was perfect proof why they need to have the Street Profits working as good guys. They
Mm-hmm.
have charisma and charm that is just undeniable. And to try and put them as heels right now just didn't make sense. I was along for the ride, don't get me wrong, but this works so much better, I think, than what they had planned before.
I agree.
Yeah, it works, and you don't really have to give them a name. It does sound like a little doo-wop band. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. That's funny. But next week, Dragon Lee versus Butch.
Ooh.
And then we're gonna have a 4-on-4 Bianca Belair, Shotzi, Zelina, Michin versus Damage Control. I'm hyped up for that one. That's gonna be a good one if everything goes good. As far as we know, Sasha's out of the picture for 8 to 9 months or something like that. Something I read on the internet. Who knows?
Charlotte.
Who could believe? Yeah, who could believe the internet? Last week that was a pretty bang up.
Yeah, I watched the spot. It was ugly. It looked like, I don't want to say one of the CEOs, but it could possibly be one of them, just based off the landing she did. So, yeah, it's not looking good. So yeah, she'll be down for a while. It sucks, but I'm
Does it
interested to see
feel
how they do.
like they wouldn't have had Shotzi in that 8-woman tag match if Charlotte was healthy?
No, yeah, I don't think she would be
Yeah.
in it.
Probably.
Well, and I'm sure she's gonna be in that spot because it felt like they were priming her for that sort of next step up, teaming with Charlotte against Damage Control. I think she's really got to tweak her character a little bit more. This current iteration just isn't working as far as a main event level gimmick. I think I mentioned it heading into Survivor Series, where her promo with the rest of her team, she felt like the odd woman out because of just the head and shoulders quality and demeanor of her teammates over her. She stood out to me in a bad way, and hopefully she's able to stand out better if she does stick around in the main event picture.
Yeah, I agree with that one. It's gonna make her return that much better.
Yeah.
We'll probably end up sometime in the summer. So probably SummerSlam. Charlotte will probably make a return or something like that. 9 months out or something like that. That could work. I mean, she's not that far away.
Because I wonder what they were gonna do as far as her Mania match, but it happens. Injuries happen.
Right. But I mean, the way it's looking to WrestleMania is so stacked. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think she's gonna be missed too
No,
much.
no, 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 not
This
no, no,
WrestleMania.
no.
But knowing everything that's been going on with the crazy return of CM Punk, hell froze over, they could probably bring Mrs. Banks back just
And
because Charlotte went down. And the only other name that could probably replace Charlotte in any capacity would be Mrs. Monet right now. But when she steps through the WWE curtain, it would probably be Mrs. Banks. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna agree. I think because I think a rumor was going around that it seems more likely now that Mercedes is probably coming back. I think now is the time for them to pretty much put something together for her, pretty much throw the bag at her because with Charlotte out, you're gonna need a star power on Smackdown. And I'm not sure with Jade and the situation, with her mom passing, I don't know how much time they're gonna give her to take care of that, get that, deal with grief and all that. So I do think now is the time to pull that Mercedes Monet, bat signal. I think now's the time to do it with Charlotte being out.
What do you say,
And
CJ?
that's a great point. I had the thought of, well, if it's on dirt sheets, I'm not going to really pay it any mind. But I mean, I said the same thing about CM Punk coming back, and that look at where that got me. So I think if they do decide to do anything with her, yeah, the time is now. Heading into WrestleMania season, I think that's going to really help her bargaining power. Like, do you want a stacked WrestleMania? Well, toss me an extra million. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think this may be another opportunity for them to kind of make stars out of their own talent pool without having to sign anybody else. But at the same time, they still decide to pay Nia Jax. So who am I to say what they should or shouldn't do?
Hey, don't say nothing about my big baby. I love me some Nia Jax. And don't say nothing about big baby, hey.
I'm finding
Everybody
out
got
more
their
and
life.
more about you, Sam.
Hey, we agree on some things. We can't agree on everything. Today's the day where we don't agree. And
Hilarious.
we gonna leave it at that.
All right.
Crazier things have happened.
I just play with you, but I love me some Nia Jax. Everybody makes mistakes, and the return of CM Punk opened up the floodgates, and not
It's literally never.
Ryback could come back. God damn it, Ryback could come back.
No.
Didn't he just do like another Twitter poll and they still told him to retire? Okay, so I think it was like his second Twitter poll. I remember tweeting at him and saying something to the effect of, because he said in the tweet, now that I've had the chance to ban all the trolls and bot accounts and whatever else, it's like, well, we're gonna do this poll again. Where should I go if I come back to wrestling? And he still got voted to retire. And I replied, so are you planning to honor the results of this poll now that you eliminated all the bots and trolls? And he blocked me.
Well,
on my birthday too. That was a great day.
That was
Best birthday present ever.
That was a good gift for
funny.
you. That was a good gift
yeah.
for you, huh? That's awesome.
Love it.
That's awesome. Well, now it's time for that's right. Dirt Sheet Radio, jobber of the night. My jobber of the night is, by the way, that new little thing has every jobber in WWF history. Just real quick, they're all in there.
Do it.
On YouTube somewhere. But I want to say Grayson Waller. I really do. I can't remember when's the last time he won a match. But I get what they're doing with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They're trying to find a replacement for this generation's Miz, because it's going to
Right.
be pretty fucking hard to find another Miz for the next 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
because this is kind of like his last run. Miz is first ballot Hall of Fame. You know, to me, he's going to be, missed. They're going to try to give him his flowers once he's gone, but I think they need to give it to him now. But for some reason, I want to give Jobber the day to carry across in that bullshit ass vignette. Talk about I'm coming back and it's gonna be different and a repackage and like, couldn't he tell his agent like, come on man, didn't we try this already? Can we do something else? Like, should I shave my head again? like something, I don't know. So it's a toss up
Take out
between
the
those two.
red straps and the red helmets, and
No, leave the
give
helmet
that
alone.
another
No,
go.
leave that where that's at.
So that's it for me. What about you guys? Brittany, who's your jobber of the night?
See, I was thinking about that before I even hopped on. I didn't have one until you brought up Carrying Cross. Like I literally didn't have one because everybody did well tonight. Like I couldn't even give it to Grayson, but I'm gonna have to say Carrying too, based off
Damn. And I
piggybacking
don't mean
off
to be
your
shitting
point.
over Cross because
And
I like him and everything. It's just
it's
he's in a bad spot right now.
it's really no disrespect, but it's one of those situations where you have to literally throw it to the wall to see if it stick until something actually clicks with him. I'm not sure, you know, I think it was a tweet he put out, and it was a whatever video package that was on Twitter. Had they did something similar to what he posted on Twitter, I would have been on board. But this seems like a complete watered down, washed out version of what he posted on Twitter about maybe a week or so ago. And it's just like, bro, like again, we're doing another video package. Would not like, where is this gonna lead to now? Another rebranding, another repackaging. So yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, just for that purpose alone. But everybody else on the show did amazing. Like nobody was a jobber, but yeah, except for Carrie. Sorry,
I mean, he's trying.
he tried. A for effort.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. You're right. It could be going through the little, peaks and valleys with him, trying to see what sticks to the walls and hopefully he'll find something that sticks.
And the thing
Hopefully.
is, it happens. That's one of the things in WWE, or just not even WWE, in pro wrestling. Period. Like you're just trying to figure out what's gonna be the thing that catapults you into greatness. Like looking at Roman, what he did to revamp his career, like stuff like that. It's possible, but it's just weird again because it feels like Lacey Evans all over again. You know how they kept throwing something,
Yeah.
it was something different every 2 months. Like again, another rebranding. So hopefully, whatever the end game is, this part, hopefully it stick because I do like carrying. But yeah, it's he's in that valley part that you just mentioned, and like I said, it happens in pro wrestling. It happens. It's nothing bad. It's just to see how he'll come out of it.
Right. Right. All right. Well, we're gonna switch on over now to our megastar. All right, I'm gonna let you take this one first, Brittany. Who's your megastar of the night?
I am going to say Carmelo. I'm giving it to Carmelo.
Yes.
Carmelo did such an amazing job, and like I said, the display of his, sportsmanship, his in-ring abilities, everything as far as just his move set. He did it for me. I have no doubt that when it's his time to actually become a permanent member of the main roster, he's gonna shine like a brand new nickel. So definitely a megastar. I'm excited to see how the storyline in NXT wraps up for him to go ahead and make his debut, his official debut on the main roster. So I'm hyped. Yeah, Carmelo. if you get a chance to see this clip, you or him. It's not hype. It's not a tagline. It's legit.
Call me,
Yeah.
call me,
You are
DM
it.
me, slide in my DMs with your fine self. If you get a chance,
Now I don't want to step on Kalani's toes. I really don't. But yeah, it's it. He was my pick tonight.
CJ, we lost you there at Jobber tonight, so we're gonna rewind just for a little bit, real quick. Who was your enhancement talent of the night?
Yeah, technical difficulties. I don't know what it is. It never happens on NXT on Tuesdays. It always seems to happen tonight. So for my jobber of the night, I gotta give it to Jimmy Uso. You know, like the way they were hyping
Oh,
up Solo, and very much just like hammering home it's at the expense of Jimmy Uso that we're doing this. You know, the whole yeet not yeet of the thing that he's got going on with Roman
yeet, not
Reigns.
yeet. Yeah.
It's yeah, like it's I get you're wanting to help Jimmy or help Jay get Yeet over too, but it's like you're really just dragging him through the dirt. And I get that they're not sure where Jimmy Uso is really gonna go once the bloodline ends, but it doesn't make sense. Well, not that it doesn't make sense, but it's I don't see him long for the bloodline. I think he's gonna wind up leaving again.
Now,
So that's why he's my pick for jobber of the night.
now he's starting to be cast aside a little bit with the yeet, not yeet, like oh no, not yeet, and then also what we didn't mention the backstage little moment between him and Solo, like, hey Solo, I feel like this is setup. If it was a setup, you'll tell me. And Solo's like, you're my brother. Now, as soon as he said that, it reminded me of when the split was happening of the
Oh
bloodline.
yeah, yeah.
And Solo said, you're my brother, but he's my tribal chief.
Oh, good
Now, I
callback.
thought Solo was going to say the same thing after he said, you're my brother, but he's my tribal chief. But this time, he only said, you're my brother. But
Well, and
after
that's
he did the little thumb thing, looked at the thumb, and he's like, you're my brother. And then that reminded me of like, whoa, he said that before. Now, but this time it's different. So I don't
I
know.
don't think it's different though. I think that's you like you said, he only said half of what he said last time. You're my brother, and I think he's going to say but he's my tribal chief
Again,
when it actually happens. You know, I think that's
it's
why I
got to
think
come
he's
to an
not
end.
long for the bloodline.
It's got to come to an end. And
Hmm.
I think Solo will be the linchpin. Once he pulls it, that would be the final straw for Roman and the bloodline. And it might happen at WrestleMania because everybody knows Roman got the leukemia, and everybody the Roman rumor is this is his last run. This is why they're letting him hold it for so long, because he's actually gonna retire and wither away into the sunset because of the leukemia and all of that. You know, I don't know. I don't believe the dirt sheets. Even we are part of the dirt sheet.
Right, and I think because I think a part of that, I
But
think
it do.
I think a part of that is the contract because I think along with Seth, Roman's contract is up next year too. So I think it's just to get our eyes on the attention. Like, okay, is Roman about to be done or what? But yeah, it's pretty much I think around the same thing as Seth, just to get us talking.
Yeah,
Well,
and
and I think I hope that there's no truth to the rumor that it is leukemia related. Like, I
Right,
mean, I don't care how much you hate the character that he represents. Like, wishing cancer on anybody
right,
is just absolutely disgusting. So, if there is anybody that's excited at the possibility of Roman Reigns' cancer coming back, you know, go fuck yourself.
right,
Like,
yeah,
wholeheartedly go fuck yourself.
right,
And I don't, I don't think that that's what it is. Like Brittany said, I think it's just a matter of his contract is up, and he hardly wrestles as it is. If they decide that they're just going to let his contract run out, and then either sign him per match, or when you think you really need him, then you kind of do the Brock Lesnar thing and
Yeah,
just bring him
I think
back whenever you really need that star power. But I
he's
think they're
already
in a
solidified. He's already
oh
solidified
yeah.
as a top shelf player. So, like, he could go away for a few months, have a rest, and then, he'll come back sporadically, you know. Who is your megastar of the evening, CJ?
Well, that's a tough pick, because I mean, look at the main event scene right now, especially even on SmackDown. You got Randy Orton, you got the returning AJ Styles, LA Knight's still in the mix, the Roman Reigns coming back, and seeing that character again. For me though, the absolute megastar of the night, Damage Control. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Oh, okay.
They had the best presentation
Yeah,
overall tonight. That promo
he
before the
took mine.
tag
Yep,
team match, everything was fire about it.
that's
And
good.
Brittany, I think you were still on. I think you were still off call when I said it. But I mean, if you read between the lines at what was being said, Bailey for the group and Asuka's comments, Io's comments, very personal. Like they're still forwarding this narrative that not everything is Titan buddy buddy within Damage Control. So I think this promo really set the tone for what we can expect heading into WrestleMania. I'm excited for it,
Yeah.
and I think they absolutely have to be my megastar of the night.
I agree. That was a fantastic video. Like that was fantastic, top to bottom. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was written out for them or if it was off the dome, but it was definitely well done. Probably the best promo as Damage Control of all time since they've been a group.
Right.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
I had it's hard, like you said, hard to pick. You got Randy Orton, you got the Bloodlines back in effect, the Romans back. You know, it could be any one of those. A strong case for Mello. I had him as a runner-up from the beginning, but then Damage Control got me too, and I like being a little different from y'all. And I thought y'all were gonna pick Carmelo and Roman and all that, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go with Damage Control for Megastar tonight. But yeah, that French kiss promo backstage, and then that entrance when they all came out together, just walking like that. Oh man, it was something awesome. And I can't wait for the story to just keep evolving. Well, guys, that's it. The Dirt Sheet Radio Smackdown Rewind show number 4. Man, pretty soon it's going to be like show 1000. So it's going to be fun as we travel along each and every week. Don't forget to catch us every Friday night right after SmackDown, about 5 minutes after SmackDown. We got to prep and stuff like that. But in between the week, CJ Carter, let them know how to find you.
Well, I'll be on NXT Rewind here on Dirt Sheet Radio after NXT goes off the air week after week, Tuesday nights, and then back here on Friday nights for the SmackDown Rewind.
And Brittany, B-Ray, where could they find you from, I don't know, Saturday through Thursday?
So I'll
So Carmelo can know where to find you.
So I'll be on the Dirt Sheet Radios for the pay-per-view recaps. But in the meantime, in between time, you can find me on Twitter Malcolm X, B Ray Jones, BEERAY Jones. The same on Instagram, BEERAY Jones. Go ahead and give me a follow. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. And as always, you can find me, Sam Schluter, the Straight Shooter, 2KWE, #1 in wrestling game entertainment. You can find us on all of those social media platforms for the best in virtual wrestling, 2KWE. All right, guys, we'll see you next Friday. Thanks for joining us. And everybody that tuned in, everybody that comment, everybody that shared, everybody that joined us. See you next time on the Dirt Sheet Radio Smackdown Rewind Show.
Like, do we push him to the back or what? Because I don't want this hype to die down.
Now you're telling us the next week that they're scum of the earth, and we need you to think.
Everybody gets a moment. Everybody gets their little shine. Everybody